we ask that you all keep your microphones muted unless asked to interact with any of the presenters today. In addition, we do have the chat here. I'll be monitoring the chat for any questions. Feel free to submit any comments, questions, anything like that. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and introduce both of our presenters for today. We have Hannah Doss and Francine Somerville. Hannah is the program coordinator of outdoor adventure at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. And Francine is the graduate assistant of outdoor adventures. And they are going to be presenting about graduate assistantships today. So thank you.
Thank you. I have the presentation now. Oh, my dog's sleep barking. Hey, wake up. Here we go. All right, can y'all see that okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
All right, cool. Well, welcome everyone to this GA info session. To get us started, so what you want to go to grad school, but you don't know how to pay for it. This is a common question to have. And one of the best ways to do this is getting a graduate assistant position. This can cover most, if not all, of your tuition based on what school you go to and your school expenses. So what is a GA? So a GA is a person who is seeking their master's. They're basically the assistant manager to the program coordinator of whatever program that you're going to be working for. And like I said before, you can get paid your master's paid, but you also can get paid a stipend. So any bills you have on the side, the GA position can help you with that. And these are some of the faces of our own graduate assistants here at our rec center. So what are the job duties of a graduate assistant? So a graduate assistant is somebody that assists in the day-to-day operations of the area. They're a student employee, so you are in your grad school and you are getting your classes taken care of while also in a management position. So when you're in this management position, you're going to be instantly overseeing 10 to 30 employees. This is such a huge resume builder because a lot of times you need experience to get experience, so you get that instant management position. You have administrative duties, but you're also filling in as needed and attending mandatory meetings. So you might have other opportunities that pop up that are great professional development while you're in this role. Another really great perk of a graduate assistant is you get trainings and certifications paid for most of the time. So as a graduate assistant of Outdoor Adventures here, I have my wilderness first aid and CPR first aid, and this was completely paid for by my graduate assistant position. So other area specific trainings and certifications might be paid for through your graduate assistant position. You also get customer service experience, but from a management role. You also get to collaborate on special projects, and this can be with people within your own department, if not on other departments in the university. You also get the chance to be a part of policy development implications. UNLV's Outdoor Adventure Program is pretty new, about 3 to 4 years old. And so when I came into this department working for Ms. Hannah Doss, I was able to become a part of the policy development, the form implications, and just see the program grow. Even if you're coming into a program that is already well established, you get to see the program grow as well as yourself while you're in this position.
So what are the benefits of being a GA? So just for example, at UNLV, every school is different, but just for an example, here at UNLV, we pay for 80% of your tuition. And also that's for 20 hours a week of work. And then for that 20 hours a week of work, we pay a stipend of $1,115 a month. And then and also pay 80% of your tuition, as well as offer the opportunity to work an extra 10 hours a week of work, so 30 hours a week total. And that extra 10 hours is paid at $12.50 an hour. So that's about an extra $730 a month. The students, the graduate assistant also gets student health insurance, and UNLV is really great because it doesn't require you to get a master's degree in like recreation or kinesiology. You can pick whatever you want. So each program is different at every school. Some schools require you to have a degree in a certain area. So just make sure you do your research before you apply. So how can you use your GA experience after graduation? So you can become a program coordinator of that area like I did. I was a graduate assistant and of outdoor adventure. And then after graduation, became a program coordinator. I've been doing it for about 3.5 years. You can also go into any other related recreation field a lot of times. So it is transferable, the experience. You can go into a field in which your degree is in. So like, for example, I got a master's in business administration. So I could have decided, you know what, I don't want to be a program coordinator. I'm going to go for something that's related more to my business degree. Or, you know, if you decide to not go into either one of those, you can still use the experience and the management experience you've gained from those graduate assistant duties for a ton of, you know, other jobs. So how to find GA opportunities? The best place is bluefishjobs.com. It's affiliated with NURSA. The website is like the Mecca website where every school knows to post their graduate assistantships. It has listings for all over America. Canada's on there as well. And it has great filters, so you can even choose by state or keyword if you're looking for a like outdoor adventure or a fitness GA. If you're interested in like a specific school by chance, and your graduate assistantship is just a bonus, you'll want to look at the school's website. A reason why you might want to do that is if you have like a very specific degree that you need to get that's not offered at every school. So you can go to their that school's website and look at their job postings at UNLV. It's called UNLV Handshake. And then you could also contact the rec center for recreational graduate assistantships. There's also teaching assistantships, TAs, or RAs, research assistantships. So if you're going into like a research field, you would want to do that RA, or if you're wanting to teach, a TA would be where you get experience in a classroom helping be an assistant teacher. So they all do this, the same thing, help pay for your master's degree and pay you a stipend. And if there's another avenue is if you're applying to a certain department, you can also contact that department's professors to see if they know of anything as well that you could apply for. So how do you apply for GA positions? You start with an application checklist. So you find an academic program that you want to be a part of. Like me, for example, I figured I would just get a free ride and see, and then open up what the school had to offer, because I really wanted that debt-free lifestyle. I didn't really have a path that I wanted to exactly follow. So you can either find the academic program first and then apply for that school, or apply everywhere and then just choose an academic program from the school, the graduate assistantship that you get. You can apply to grad school. Make sure you have taken all of your tests before you apply, your GRE, your GMAT, etc., whatever's required of your degree, and then apply to your GA program. Some places require you to enroll and be accepted into a master's program before you apply to the graduate assistantship, and then some places don't. Make sure you pay attention to that. An application to a school, runs $150+ most of the time. So it might not be something that you want to do or you can afford. And especially if you're applying for multiple schools. But if it's something that you can afford, or you're not sure if your chances are good enough in the application pool to even really warrant spending the money, you can reach out to the hiring committee and just kind of fill out where you are. And a lot of times they're very open, and we'll even work with you if it's something that you can't afford. And then just for an example, the GA positions that we offer at our rec center, hiring for summer 2021 is fitness for fall, and then maybe outdoor adventures. We might keep Francine for another year. We also will be hiring for spring 2021 for our aquatics graduate assistantship. And then for summer 2022, we'll have a hiring session for a fitness graduate assistantship who will start in the fall.
So as a lot of you who are already here know, NURSA is a great organization to be a part of to find graduate assistant positions, networking. So here in our region, these are a few of the graduate assistant positions that are coming up soon. Iowa is looking for 2 positions, Idaho is looking for 1, Oregon's looking for 1, Washington 7, and Utah 5. So being a part of NURSA, you get this kind of information of how you can continue your education in a graduate assistant position.
And one thing I will say real quick is these are just what's currently on there. Keep an eye on Bluefish because people post at different times throughout the year. And so check weekly, and you can even sign up for email updates as well on Bluefish. They'll email you graduate assistantships that fit your filters. So for tips and tricks for building resumes, for recreation resumes, you can throw out that idea of, oh, I want a 2-page resume or else they won't look at it. Mine personally was like 5 pages long. So the more detailed, the better. So it's okay to go long. If the position you're applying for requires certifications, make sure you put in those deadlines of those certifications, so that expiration date, so that they know that those are still active. Active certifications are good for you because it means you're coming in with that, and it's maybe something that they don't have to pay for professional development. That may not be something that they consciously kind of judge people on, but it's a good thing to just put in there. Lots of schools also request cover letters. Just always do your cover letter. It's an extra opportunity for you to really sell yourself and explain why you're interested in the job. If you don't do that, you're not really getting to know them on a personal level, like selling yourself. So definitely always do a cover letter, even if they say it's optional. Some more tips and tricks. Look into what kind of resume is standard for the type of position you are applying for. So in rec, we do long resumes, but if you're doing like a TA, a teaching assistantship, it may be what they want is more of a single-page resume. And then have multiple people from your field that you're trying to go into, like people at the recreation center, for example, if you're trying to get a GA ship there, ask them if they'll review it, even if you don't know them. Like if you don't have any relationship whatsoever with your recreation center, just send them an email, because we're very student centered and always willing to help bring somebody on into the field. All right, so this is an example resume of one of our graduate assistantships. So you can see here that he's used different like font types, kind of like he's used italics, he's used bold, he's used all caps, and then he's used bullet points, which is awesome as well. So to really visually break up your different jobs, it's going to make reviewing your resume a lot easier and a lot more intriguing to the person who is reviewing your resume. It's also going to be like, okay, this person has attention to detail. They obviously look organized. Their resume is organized. And so those things really reflect on you as a person, so make sure your resume looks really, really good. he has, this is RGA's, his name is Facundo. This is, he has put like his education at the top, and then this line all the way across. And then he's put the location and the dates, very important as well. And then he's bulleted out each job and the highlights of that job. And I really, if you've had a lot of experience, it can get a lot longer than this. This is his second page, and you'll see he's also professional activities and organizations. So being a part of NURSA, like today, you can put this conference on your resume, definitely do that. And then he's put his certification and skills. Again, I would recommend that he put in the deadline or the expiration for those certifications. And then your references, it doesn't hurt to put them at the end, but some people want you to as a separate.
And then a cover letter, like Hannah said, this is, even if it is not required, this is a great way to set yourself aside from everyone else. This is your chance to brag about yourself and how awesome you are in its most basic form. You can make a template for your cover letter. Always keep in mind, though, if you are using a template, that the information that you're updating is always current to the position that you're applying for. One really great part about being in a recreations field is that it's super easy to find program coordinators' names online, as well as assistant directors and directors, because we have really simple directories on our website. So always make sure that you're using a specific name, make it personable. Say, "Dear Hannah Doss, this is why I want to be a part of your program. These are the skills and passions that I have that can contribute to your department." That you can explain how your current position ties into your the position you are applying for, and what makes you stand out as you contribute to the department. And how can you represent the department? Know what that department's values and views are. Are they a part of diversity, equity, inclusion? Include how you are a part of that as well in your cover letter. As well as just your passion. What is it that you're passionate about in life, and how can you drive that in your career or as being a part of a graduate assistant position?
Yeah, and one thing I also will say about the cover letter is the highlighted parts. I think that's important for you to save in your kind of cover letter template, because it's very easy when you get on a roll to accidentally forget to update a part, and then if you send it wrong, people know that it's like, oh, they don't really care about this position because they're just obvious. I'm just part of their mass mailing application because they didn't even bother to update this line. So leaving it highlighted in your template is a great way to remind yourself to update it.
So tips and tricks for an interview. So typical graduate assistant questions ask about your experience with diverse populations. They ask, what do you feel are the most important topics in a training for student employees? In a graduate assistant position, you're going to get the chance to train students. So having an answer to this question is important, and as well as having an answer for working with diverse populations. They're going to ask about your personality and program-specific questions. So when they ask you, tell me about yourself, have a good answer for that. That one's always one that gets me on an interview. I'm like, who am I? What? And then, so prepare for that question. It's almost always asked. And then make sure you're doing your research about the program ahead of time. So when they ask program-specific questions, you already know how to answer this, and how what you already have to offer ties into this question. As well as their campus rec philosophy. Like I said before, are they a part of diversity, equity, and inclusion? Are they student focused? And a lot of times your interviews are going to have multiple rounds. I had 2 rounds. So the first round involves a lot of personality questions. They're trying to get to know you. And second round has a lot of scenarios, questions, and judging the information you know about their department and how you can contribute to their work environment. Schedule mock interviews with your current professional staff or people that you trust. And when I say people you trust, people who are going to be honest with you, provide valuable feedback, and show you areas of improvement. Here at our recreation center, we offer mock interviews to student staff all the time who are preparing to go into internships or nutrition and kinesiology graduate assistant positions. So reach out to your current network and ask them for mock interviews. You also want to take into account that when you are applying for a graduate assistant position, you're interviewing them as much as they are interviewing you. So you want to ask questions about what skills and experience that they're looking for in an ideal candidate. What attributes does someone need to have in order to be a really successful person in this position? What type of skills is the team missing, and how can you fill in those missing gaps? As well as, what are the biggest challenges of a graduate assistant position? We'll get into later that there are ups and downs of being a graduate assistant, and asking that question in an interview sets you up in a good position to already prepare for those challenges. So for a resource, to have a really good resource, is creating an application tracker. So keep track of what programs that you're applying for and any associated deadlines with these applications. What is their direct contact for that application? You want to be aware of any certifications you should get beforehand or that are mandatory a part of that position. And having this tracker allows you to keep track of where you've applied and that timeline. Send follow-up thank yous to the people that you are applying to. Keep yourself fresh in their minds. It's also not something that a lot of people do, to send a thank you email to someone for interviewing you. So doing that shows a really good judge of character, a really good character trait, so that they are keeping you fresh in their mind. The rec industry is also very small. So creating those positive interviews and positive contacts with people in recreation and even NURSA, then you're able to create your professional network that's going to look really good as a competitor in the business world.
And so what was being a GA really like? So I was a GA for 2 years in Birmingham, Alabama. It was great because it really got me a fast track to management experience. If you think about it, if you're fresh out of your undergrad and you go into somewhere to work, it's going to take you 5 years minimally to be working in that company, probably until you get promoted into a management role. So here I was getting my master's, getting paid to go get it for free on top of that, and getting thrown directly into management role. Now, saying that, it does come with its own challenges, because it's not like you get to, go to how to be a manager 101 class. You learn as you go. You're going to make mistakes, but you also are going to learn a ton, and it's 2 years of management experience right there that you graduate with. Being a graduate assistant is a grind. You're working 20, 30 plus hours a week, plus you've passed and you've got homework. But debt free is amazing, and really puts you in a place that a lot of people aren't.
Yeah, and like Hannah said, it throws you into a fast track management position. It is a grind. So having a positive relationship with your supervisor or other professional staff at the department you're working for is a really great option, because you get to come to them for professional development, feedback, and they are the masters of what they are managing. So you get to learn firsthand from them how to manage people, how to communicate, how to be a part of program development. And so creating a positive relationship with your supervisor is important, as well as establishing that open line of communication. Because you are a student first, you're going to have to have time management. You're going to be managing your hours that you're required to have as a graduate assistant, as well as the demands of your graduate department as a student. So having that open line of communication, that positive relationship with your supervisor allows both parties to be on the same page, checking in on each other, so that you can be a student first and maintain a healthy mindset. But it is a grind, but it is worth it. Does anybody have any questions?
I have one. So as far as your graduate assistantship, what are some tips that you wish someone would have told you prior to beginning your GA?
That's a
That's
question.
a great question.
I would say, it all depends on, like, I did not feel when I applied to be a GA, I didn't even know if I was going to get one, because literally I found out what a graduate assistantship was about 6 months before I applied. And I scrambled to get some certifications that would make me applicable. I went and got a summer internship really quick and then just started applying, and was willing to take anything and everything that came at me. And I probably applied to over 70 different graduate assistantships. And, I got maybe 3 or 4 offers for interviews, but I took the first interview I had, I got offered, and I took, and I did not interview them really in my interview. And even if I had, and they had told me things that maybe were unfavorable, like, I don't know if I still would have taken it anyway, because I wanted a free degree and I wanted that experience. But I would say it would just find about their flex time policy, and really whether or not they see you as a student first or as a graduate assistant first. Personally, my experience, they saw me as a GA first. And I did not get flex time. So for example, if I worked a trip and I was gone all weekend, overnight on a camping trip, none of those hours counted towards my 20 hours a week. And that probably was not legal. So the second year I asked, can I please have at least one day? If I work 2 days, over the weekend, can I please at least have 1 day of flex time? And I did get that. But if I had probably gone to some higher up in the school system, they probably would have been like, yeah, it's not okay for them to be doing that to you. So really, be prepared to really hard. But if you feel like there's some sort of injustice going on, not to say that this is everybody's experience, I don't think it is, but just know who you can talk to kind of fill out and know your kind of GA policy contract and what's okay and what's not okay, so that your mental health and your work-life balance stay as healthy as possible.
Thank you.
I could add to that. I've been extremely lucky because my graduate assistant position has been pretty flexible up until this point, with that I am a student first, and just the demands of my program versus the demands of the department. But something I would add is gauge what your program coordinator's vision of a GA is going to be. I think that was something with Hannah. Her program coordinator had a different idea of what their graduate assistant was going to be, as opposed to Hannah's idea for me as a graduate assistant. And that's something that in an interview you can ask to gauge, are they going to be flexible? Some graduate assistants have practicums, internships, hours that they have to dedicate, as well as be a GA. So on your own part, making sure you're also engaging in self-care and taking time to keep track of your mental health is very important, because you are a student first, so you don't want to burn out. And if you start to feel fatigued and anxious and out of nowhere, things that don't usually anger you are making you angry, those are signs of burnout. And that means find, like Hannah said, somebody that you can talk to, Because when you are a GA and a student, there's going to be times where you're giving more than you have to give. Because sometimes you might have to say no to your friends who are going out on a day because you need to take time for yourself. So establishing those lines and those boundaries also is super important as a graduate assistant, and something I had to learn in my first year as a graduate assistant. So always keep that in mind when you're applying.
Thank you. Are there any additional questions?
I'm thinking about a question. So I'm already completed a graduate degree, but it's something completely different. And I worked in campus recreation for that whole time as a group fitness instructor. I don't have the managerial experience, and yet now that I've graduated, I'm like, this is what I want to go into. This is it. So would you recommend, despite having completed a graduate program, to still pursue this as a viable option? I definitely want to stay debt-free, and I want to look at the best option to prepare me to be a viable candidate in the realm of campus recreation.
That's a really great question.
I would say that you probably already, ready to apply. That they really want to see a master's degree that is a requirement, and then if you're wanting to be like a group fitness coordinator, your group fitness teaching experience should be applicable. So I would definitely apply, see if there's any certifications that they're kind of wanting that make you more, since you did graduate assistance experience, see if there's any things that you can do to improve your resume right before you apply. Start looking now to see what you can get, but I would say you're already ready to apply.
And then also being put into a management position that you might not necessarily have any experience with. The best way to learn is from the environment you're going into. So learning from the people you're going to manage and seeing how the culture that's already currently there, learning from whoever's going to be supervising you. I think it's called the 90 to 30 day rule, where you go into a work environment and you learn what they're already doing, what their work culture is for a certain amount of time before you start implementing changes. And then that way you're better to understand the people you're going to be managing and the department you're going to be managing, and then you can start to put in your own personal take on what you're doing and moving the department towards growth. So no better people to learn from than the people you're going to be managing and the people who are managing you.
And when I'll also say just generally to everyone is like, whatever your undergrad is in, it doesn't really matter. Like, I have a undergrad in art, and so does my sister. She's also a outdoor adventure program coordinator like me. So when we graduated undergrad, we had no idea that this is what we wanted to do. And I'd actually never worked in a rec center a day in my life before I applied for the graduate assistantship. So you can just really build your resume in other ways to make yourself applicable. And then me getting those core certifications that they really would love to see, like there's like the minimum requirements and their preferred, I was making sure I got some of those preferred things so that I could be more competitive in the job market.
Great question. Any others? We have a lot of time left, so feel free. All righty. Well, if there aren't any additional questions, I just want to thank our presenters, Hannah and Francine for taking the time out of their day to tell us this wonderful information about graduate assistantships. And thank you all for participating in the Student Lead On today. Thank you.
Thank you for having
Thank you,
us.
everybody.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much, everyone. Yeah, we really appreciate everyone coming out over the past few days and participating in all the sessions. So thank you very much. We will be sending out a follow-up email, hopefully next week sometime, with all the links to all these presentations. So if there was something you wanted to go over and you didn't take notes, you're going to have a copy of it. So thank you again, everyone. We really appreciate it.
Feel free to reach out to me or Francine if you have any questions too. Bye.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Thank you all. Have a good weekend.
You too. You all too. Bye.
See you, Ross.